welcome back to the Get Chatty podcast. And today we have my friend Adrian with me. How are
Hello.
you?
I'm really good, Arthur. Thank you.
Oh gosh.
Really well.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell the audience a little bit.
So I'm Adrian, and I run a business called Thinkaway Learning. So I grew up in the States, so I've got a bit of a strange accent. Sounds a little bit like an actor trying to do a bad Australian accent, or the opposite. Grew up in America, and we lived in Japan for a couple years as a family, and then we moved to Australia. And I grew up in Sydney, went to high school and university there. And then I went and traveled around Europe and worked in Europe for a little while, came back and landed my first career job. I consider it my first career job. Was very lucky to get a job in the advertising team at David Jones in Sydney's head office.
Jeez.
Yeah, very fancy. Well, I was doing admin, so it wasn't that fancy. But I worked my way into what I wanted to do, was to be an advertising coordinator, which they kindly helped me do. So worked there for 4 years, got really good mentoring and work experience, I suppose. And then I moved to Westfield in their marketing team in Sydney. And they had an opening for a marketing role at Westfield Doncaster Shopping Centre that was being redeveloped. This is like 2008. And again, lucky enough to move with Westfield to that role, and got to experience the world of retail or kind of, shopping center marketing. But then I got sort of, the urge to do some other I wanted to experience, I guess, more B2B marketing. So I actually entered the world of business events as a marketing exec, and then made my way into a marketing manager role and worked on just lots of different industry events, trade shows, conferences for different industries, mostly the food service, food manufacturing, and food science industries.
Wait, is there lots of sampling?
Yes, there is. At the food service one called Fine Food Australia, there was a lot of sampling. Actually, we had to bat people away at the door that weren't part of the industry, because people came in for the samples. So if you weren't part of the industry, you were not allowed those samples. But yeah, I did that for a while, and I really enjoyed it, and I learned so much more. And then I really got more of a taste for B2B marketing and strategy.
We have quite a few parallel
Yeah,
points.
That's right.
Because I went to school in Sydney.
Yes.
And then I moved into, it was also a job that moved me to here.
Oh, we need to chat about that.
Yes.
we need to compare notes.
Yes. Yeah. And then the thing is, like, I at some point that my world kind of changed when it goes to like B2B conference exposure marketing.
Oh, that's it. It's so different.
Yes.
And I find it more enjoyable.
But the horrible thing is the last expo that I did was this like utility trade show. Yeah. So I was like, there's no sample.
No samples.
Nothing to
not
eat.
Always, unless they have jelly beans or something. Yeah.
No. Oh, look, I mean, you don't want to eat anything at that.
I know. You don't know. You don't know if that's come from the last year's exhibition.
Or the year before.
They've saved it. Although if those jelly beans were in my remit, they would be eaten. Yeah. Yeah, they wouldn't last a year. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we both have a marketing trajectory.
Yeah.
And in a way, what for me I love so much is that because marketing is so versatile, you get to go and challenge yourself and meet your own standard, and then challenge yourself with other people's standard. And have conversations.
Absolutely. And it's so depending on where you want to go with it. There's so many areas that you can specialize in. And I guess I would consider myself to be more of a marketing generalist. So, came up in that discipline, and then didn't really want to go in and specialize in any one area, but I really did enjoy content development and copywriting. I shouldn't call it content development, more, blog writing, copywriting, business writing. So I really enjoyed that part of it, which is kind of what led me, not entirely, but sort of one reason I got the interest in a different industry, which is training. So,
how did you get into that? Because that's quite a journey.
It is, but it is, and it isn't, because there's a lot of transferable skills between what I was doing. Because after my work with different employers in the B2B marketing space, I actually ran my own marketing business for a while, got through the pandemic, which I was quite very lucky to be able to get through the pandemic unscathed, running your own business.
Come to think about it, isn't it great that we both are not in the event industry?
Well, that was it. So I did lose event marketing work during that time, but I picked up other work, which was
there you go. Like,
I feel very lucky to be
dodging a huge
to be able to say that. But then after about 6-7 years of doing that, I was like, I don't want to run my own business on my own anymore. I want to share it with somebody else. But how do you find someone to share a business with? It's very difficult. So my father, who I get along with very well, he is an incredible person. Actually, everybody in my family is an incredible person. We all get along really well, very close-knit, having moved from different continent to different continent. You kind of have to be friends, don't you? So he and I would often have like chats on the phone every week and talk about work stuff and challenges and things like that. And we talked about, going back into, he wanted to start something up again that he used to do back in Sydney. So he ran probably, I'm not going to lie when I say this, the most successful and the best e-learning agency in Sydney back in the 90s and 2000s.
Oh, geez.
And he was kind of, and again, I'm not shy in saying this, hopefully you won't mind me saying this, he really forged that industry. Like, he was a really interesting thinker, very creative thinker, and was very respected in that industry. Sold that business maybe 15 years ago, and then a couple of years ago we were talking, and he wanted to start something like that up again. And we were talking about it kind of like an opportunity. So I decided to come along that journey with him and run it for him. So I'm the general manager of Thinkaway Learning, which means I run the day-to-day and the sort of business development and the marketing, and you do all the things. I made him do the accounting for a while because I don't really like that part of it.
Fair enough.
That's not my jam, not my wheelhouse. So we started that probably 18 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. And I've really enjoyed it because, again, we get along really well. He has taught me so much about running a business properly because I was running my marketing business on my own. I was kind of doing it on the fly, and I didn't really have as many structures in place that I probably should have. When you run something on your own, sometimes you fall into those traps, or maybe just I do.
No, actually, I think that happens to a lot of people.
Because you get busy doing the work. And so this has been a good opportunity because we have a lot of really good structures and processes and ways of doing things that are that make it really kind of nice to work with different clients. People say that they love working with us because we are, very professional, very responsive, very good at communicating, and very creative in the way that we think about things. So,
well, that sounds like the marketing part of you sipping in.
Well, that's where I was saying, I touched on it before, but there's a lot of transferable skills and such that, as a marketer with an interest in content and writing, you're often tasked with taking complex topics and ideas and distilling them into something that's really easy to, consume and read and understand. And hopefully, the idea with content marketing is that often you can be educated by the content that you consume to lead to a marketing outcome. But with training, it's very similar. And what we do is bespoke e-learning. So it's a type of training that falls within all, the spectrum of different ways to train employees. But we do the same thing. So I learned how to storyboard, which means pulling together, like taking the subject matter experts and taking information from them and sorting through it and working out what the really important teachable moments are, and crafting those into engaging e-learning experiences. So that's what I love about what I do. And
that
I learned
makes
how
sense
to
now.
Yeah, so that's what we do, and I learned how to develop as well. Using different tools, authoring tools we call them, to develop e-learning. So, and I love it. I nerd out to that stuff. It took me, a while to get my head around because it's a lot to do with logic and layering and the order of things, and if this then that, which is not a skill that you're always using in the marketing world.
No, but in many ways that there can be quite a bit of crossover, because not only about distilling information, but it's also creating something engaging.
That's it. So there's so many different crossovers. But I really enjoy doing what we're doing. I really needed something new and a different challenge. So that's why I decided to do it, and here I am.
One of the things I really like about is the name Thinkaway.
Yeah,
that is such a lovely name. How did you came up with that? Is it you and your dad? Or something?
That was actually a really fun time that we were trying to come up with the name. So one of my jobs before I started my marketing business, I worked for a boutique intellectual property firm. And it was just a few of us. There are a few, like obviously skilled, trained lawyers and IP attorneys, or trademarks attorneys, I should say. And I developed content for them in terms of writing blogs and social media and email campaigns. And I learned a lot through that, very complex topic about naming. So naming brands and how to do that in a way where you can protect the name through trademarking. I learned a lot about that process and how to think about it through that. So when we were going through the process, we kind of did it the right way, which was look to see if the trademark is, available. A lot of people don't do that when they're naming their business and fall into a trap maybe later. But we're smart people, Dad and I, Mickey and I. So we did that, and we went through a long process of finding something that was ownable, because everything is taken. And so we went through a lot of sort of research on different sort of words and connecting different words together and seeing how that worked. And we worked with a trademarks attorney who did some searches for us to tell us what was available and what wasn't. And we landed on Thinkaway. Now, the word think actually comes from my father's old business called The Learning Group in Sydney. They had a product, again, which was really very innovative at the time, called Think Breaks. And it was trademarked. So we took that idea. They're not that's not a trademark anymore, Think Break. But the idea is that it's a piece of micro learning. And this is 25, maybe longer years ago. Micro learning wasn't really talked about very much back then. So this idea of a Think Break came into what we are doing now. And we actually use that as part of the training that we develop is micro learning and think breaks and, ways to drop in episodic, I don't know if you'd call it episodic, but episodic learning moments for an employee. So they're not having to sit for 2 hours and do a training course on their desktop.
Well, otherwise you'll get an episode from them.
Yeah, you get a dramatic episode of declining to do it. But yeah, so we take that idea and try to pull that into what we're doing now is make it enjoyable, learning moments that aren't difficult to do for an employee, because you don't want them groaning about their e-learning that they've got to do.
No, not at all. Well, actually, this is interesting because in my head, when I first saw that, the thing that popped up in my head is completely different.
Oh, how funny. And that's the interesting thing about naming is that it can evoke different thoughts and connections, which I love. I think that's really cool. Well, as long as it's trademarked.
Well, exactly. I'm
happy.
Make sure when trademark whatever you
trademark your business names, people.
And get the URL.
Do your domain research, your social media handle research first. Oh God! Make sure that somebody else isn't using it.
One of the things that when you mentioned that you have your dad involved and his history in the space, I was like, because it's almost like when you're learning, you're growing yourself and get ready to get out there to the world and fly away.
Oh, that's really nice. That's actually a way better background story than the one that we actually have. So maybe we'll use that.
Use that. Like that's a good one.
Actually, that's it.
Because it's like it's like a new incarnation of think.
That's it. Yep.
Think
yep. Exactly.
And it's like
It's a metamorphosis, or
excellent.
It's something. There's something there.
It's a butterfly
we're gonna workshop
emerge.
this.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna
workshop this.
Okay.
I'll credit you with that idea.
No. Well, look, I mean, as long as you share this clip.
Yeah, exactly. This came from Arthur.
But I think there's something quite amazing, because when you're working with family, when you're working with people close to you, you know each other, you know each other's strength and ability.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And we're gonna go on a little break. And then after that, I'm going to go a little bit deeper about what Thinkaway is.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I would love to talk about Thinkaway. Bang on about it for hours.
Welcome back with Chatty curator and also Adrian from Thinkaway.
Hello.
Now, we just gone to the topic of where did the name come from, and I think it's wonderful. Now, I'm very curious about, because learning experience, professional learning experience, is different from all of us. I remember I hate school. I didn't like school. I don't like learning, but I do like working.
Yeah.
And the thing is, learning without knowing that I'm learning, that was the best thing.
Yep.
That was the best thing.
That's absolutely.
What about you? Do you have any experience in the past as a learner? What?
Yeah, I'm a real detail person. So I need, and everybody learns differently. There's lots of different learning styles, and you can read a number of, different sources about how people learn. But I in particular, from the beginning of my schooling, like maybe from high school and then to uni, I need to capture, which is probably inefficient, but to capture every angle of every detail. And then I sort through it in my mind as to what's important, and then learn that way. But I'm very much I need a lot of information first in the first instance. But some people don't. Some people are very visual and they need more maybe active experiences and participation and possibly peer sharing and learning to learn and take things on. Yeah.
It's I probably do the best when peer learning, but I also hate working in groups.
Yeah, there's something about group
projects
work that we've all been burned by.
Nope.
Mostly at uni. Yeah. The group projects at uni that could burn you. And then you have to face that when you go into a team anyway at work. You can face the same challenges. So they're actually probably important group projects. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got an unprompted question for you now.
Yeah.
So it's unplanned and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it's, I think we all, when we're in a workplace, in a professional space, we all need to keep developing experience and such as.
Yeah.
Now, one of the target audience of this podcast is for younger people who might consider building themselves up towards a new career or entrepreneurship and things like that. Now, but right now, a lot, as in 2026, just like the last few years, AI had come up a lot. So what's your thoughts about what all of these advancement is changing the space? Is it for the better, for worse, or what do you think?
Oh, it's so funny to be asked that, because I know I am by no means a technical person when it comes to AI, and I can't talk with any authority on AI, but I can talk from my experience with AI. And I can say, I think absolutely there's some scary stuff going on. Broadly, there's some very scary stuff going on with AI warfare and all of that sort of stuff, which I obviously would not get into, maybe later. But in terms of AI in the workplace, broadly again, I think there are certain areas of industry where that is more advanced than others. In the area that I used to be in terms of copywriting and marketing, I actually do think it is quite up there in terms of being able to utilize, for the most part, what you're getting back from your AI. From what I've seen so far in the learning space, in terms of content creation, now I'm not talking about other areas of AI and learning. There are so many different facets of it. But in terms of content creation, it's getting there, but it's not at the point where I would take an AI content development tool and put it out to a client. No. Definitely not. No. image generation has its problems. You know, I've experimented with a few different AI image generators, you know, to save budget as well. Like, this is the other thing, is that e-learning projects are not the immense budget, you know, they don't need humongous budgets like they used to in the past with videographers and photographers. Some of that can be done through AI, whether it's of a quality, a high enough instructional quality or not. That's another point altogether. But yeah, I use it for helping me get started with things like writing, summarization, other different tasks that I use it for. But I do think you have to obviously have a baseline knowledge of what you're getting the AI to do to be able to say whether it's right or wrong, what the output is.
I was keen to find out, like, because how do I put it? Like, there's a lot of younger people that they are relying on asking AI the question instead of learning.
So
and
worrying.
Yeah.
That's really worrying. And as a mother, I have a son, so I've got an 11-year-old son.
Oh gosh!
And he's super clever, very clever boy. But I reckon, I wonder if he'd be like me. I used to look for shortcuts in things, like when I was when I was younger and when I was going through school. And I have no doubt that he will use it as a shortcut. But I hope that the school environment that he's in, you know, helps foster the basics that they need to know, like the baseline of writing, grammar, sentence structure, which are really important to me.
Yes.
His father is actually, like, he did an MBA. Like, I don't even have an MBA. I've just got my little Bachelor of Arts. He is probably better with things like arithmetic concepts, maybe, than I am. I don't know, maybe. But yeah, so between the two of us, we're really helping shape his baseline knowledge of those two things, because Matt, his father, is dyslexic and didn't get the same. In America, they have a different sort of way of teaching writing and language. So there's a lot more teaching around grammar and structure. Like, a lot of kids in Australia, like, they didn't know what a verb is, what an adjective is, a noun. They're not taught that. Whereas in America, we were like, that was ingrained in us. So for Thurston, our son, it's like, you know, making sure that he understands that from my end, and then Matt can hopefully come in at another angle.
It can be quite concerning, because if they haven't learned, because one of the big thing about, like, schooling and university, it's about learning how to think and process information, like think critically or process information that you can develop into a skills or knowledge. But then it's like, one of the concern that is, like, because, well, I mean, we're no spring chicken, we're not single digit anymore. But then a lot of the things that we learn and understand, and sometimes that someone can ask me a question, and on top of my head, this is what I know, is because I have those.
I've known it for years, like, you've
not that long, like, you know, just a little while, just a little while. But then it's so interesting, because I would imagine that if I rely on AI and a very good algorithm, and I know that they're gonna get better in the next few years. But then the thing is, like, no one's learning anything.
And I'll be honest, it is for speed of turning things around. Yeah. It'll be like, I just need this email to be cleaned up quickly, so I'm not poring over it, because I do that. I'm a perfectionist. Because the other thing is AI and perfectionism. You know, where does that meet?
Well, look, I mean,
so being a perfectionist, I would pore over emails, making sure that they're correct and not sending it to the wrong person, or, you know, the right language and professionalism or humor or whatever. And using AI to be able to do that and just quickly look at it and go, yep, off, out the door, out the door, out the door.
Well, and the other thing that I do use AI for, I have a thing about just logging everything that I do. Yeah. And then at the end of it, I ask AI to summarize what I do.
Oh, see, that's really good.
That's very useful.
Exercise.
Yes,
I don't do that. Again,
but it's very useful because the thing is that, oh my God, I've done that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. And then sometimes it gives me some idea, there might be this bit that I can improve upon later on. Well, this had definitely been a long time coming. For a long time that Adrian and I had saw each other at networking events and talked to each other a lot. But finally, I got her to sit down for an interview, and as expected, we talked until both the audio and video went out. There will be a part 2 coming up, but before we get there, I do want to share a couple of things that we can all learn from this. Adrian moved from marketing into training and e-learning. It's not really a starting over, but repurposing what she already knows. If you look at it, turning complex information into engaging learning experience, it's actually very similar to the work of a content marketer. We talked about running a solo business on the fly without strong system in place. I've done the same before when I did the pop-up space to promote Sydney artists about 13 years ago. Now with hindsight, I think we both wish that we had built better process at the time to look after our market better and, frankly, ourselves. In the past, Mystique was good for selling something, but we're now living in the digital age where people can be informed so they choose to. So whether you're building a product, service, or content, making something complex into something simple is generally a good thing. Anyway, whether you're starting something or bracing a career pivot, I hope this episode offers you something practical and honest to help you figure things out moving forward. Now, there will be more Adrian episodes coming up, but we gotta get to meet my other guest first, and we'll come back with Adrian in a few episodes. Get Chatty Podcast is produced by me, Arthur, the Chatty Curator. Thanks for your company. I hope you enjoyed this episode, learn something new, or pick up something helpful to realize your aspirations. The podcast guests are appearing in kind, so please consider supporting the podcast by supporting them. Small moments like liking and sharing on social media or send your friend the episode can really help. You can find all the information on the show notes or visit chattycurator.com if you prefer to listen without Spotify or YouTube Music accounts. Until the next episode, thanks for listening and have a great day.